hump of the week, Wednesday morning. This is Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life is smooth. Breakfast is in full swing. And this is yours truly, Ayokunmi Kekiriekuma. And we're about to walk into the world of great sporting action. You know what it is, you know how we do. There's football, there's boxing, there's everything in between. And it's going to be an amazing, amazing Wednesday because we're absolutely buzzing after what transpired yesterday in Morocco, talking about the Super Falcons. But you know what? Let me not jump the gun. Let me not get overexcited. Joining me to jump into all these stories and a whole lot more, the one and only sports Amazon herself, Tega Supreme. Good morning to you, Tega.
Good morning. I love your jersey, man.
Yeah.
I can't believe I didn't even know you had a copy. Now that's for
Well,
you.
surprise.
All right. So yes, appropriate dressing considering what happened in Morocco yesterday. We are going to touch on that. And the thing that kept me up at night, at least till 2:45 a.m., was completely different. It was in tennis. We're not talking much about that, but I had to mention Venus Williams. After over a year of not playing tennis, at 45, stepped on court for her singles match yesterday, and she beat
Okay.
Peyton Stearns 6-3, 6-4. Straight set win. It was beautiful to watch. I love her court coverage. I can't move. Look, let me tell you, yesterday I woke up fine. I was watching the Super Falcons, and then I tweaked my back, and I've been working with a limp since. Venus Williams was running all over the court at 45. There are levels to these things. Okay?
Hmm,
So you
definitely.
have to remember, she won her doubles match the day before. Then yesterday, she won her singles match. She hasn't played tennis in 16 months.
Man. Form is temporary, class is permanent, as they say.
I'm telling you. So forget. So all of those are they're saying, oh, why didn't she leave the wild card for the young girls to take? Why is she with the wild card? You got your answer yesterday. All right, you got your answer yesterday. Um, so that was what kept me up at night. We're not talking City Mubadala City Open tennis today, but I just wanted to mention that Venus is doing madness in Washington. What else is happening? Yes, some people's package has arrived. Some people's package is still on the high sea. I'm telling you, this kind of transfer market. I've not seen it before. It's now like Temu delivery. You know, you know when the package has left the store, when it has gotten on the plane, when it has arrived to Nigeria. So yes, some people's package they say it's coming, but it has not yet arrived. We'll
Hmm.
discuss all of that and more inside the locker room this morning. But before we do any talking, Ayokobi, tell us how can we be a part of the locker room today?
All right, you can join us in the locker room this morning by sending your messages in on WhatsApp and joining us on YouTube or even both. Hey, we love you everywhere. So the WhatsApp number is 0809 444 0981. YouTube, you can find us at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. And hey, you need to be on YouTube. You can see me decked out in all green. Yes, repping Niger. It is what it is. Beautiful stuff. All right, Tega, let's jump into the nitty gritty of the conversation this morning, talking about what happened yesterday afternoon or evening in the WAFCON, where Michelle Aluzie's winner, 4 minutes into injury time, handed Nigeria a 2-1 victory over defending champion South Africa in Casablanca to claim a place in the final of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations. Mission X, almost there.
Yeah, so Mission X is really going on the way, and the school Falcons were talking about how they were going for Mission X and they're trying to get their 10th WAFCON title, but they also had a side dose of revenge mission. Because remember last WAFCON, South Africa beat Nigeria,
Mm,
revenge. But this, I would say this was not the most beautiful of performances in the sense that they started the first half brilliantly, like they did against Zambia. It was the same starting lineup, no changes made. Um, the likes of Tony Payne, Ochebe on the bench, And it
Yeah.
was players like Chejine, Hazel. Players who started this tournament on the bench were now the ones featuring for Nigeria. And they were playing brilliantly. They created a few chances. They just didn't bury them, especially that double chance that they created with Okonkwo with the first shot and Hazel with the second one that was blocked on the line by the defender. It looked like the Super Falcons were really doing the job. But because they didn't get that early goal, they kind of started stuttering.
Mm.
And then they got the penalty. That was I don't know anybody that's arguing with penalty. We've told you the rules. Once your hand is in an unnatural position and it stops the ball in the 18-yard box, it's a penalty. It doesn't have to be intentional. It's a penalty. There's no what were you people saying on the streets yesterday? Ojoro. There's no Ojoro there. It was a clean penalty. All right. According to every rule in the FIFA book. So Nigeria got the penalty, scored their penalty. And then they came out in the second half, and I expected more intensity, but the intensity dropped off drastically, and they let South Africa into the game. And then the most experienced player on the pitch gave away a penalty. I want to use the word silly, but because they're on Mission X, let's just ignore that word for now. But it was not a penalty that an amateur should give. But we understand that people make mistakes because her defender Alozie was beaten, soundly beaten on her angle. And so Ohale went out to cover Alozie, but
Mm.
the defender also ran past her. And then she pulled the defender back. She can argue that she was on the defender's shoulder for only less than 2 seconds, but that was a pullback and so a clear penalty. South Africa took it, came back into the game, and that gave them impetus because they now started riding the momentum. But Nigeria was able to stem that, survive some tough moments, and then Alozie eventually put the ball in the back of the net. At first, it thought it was Abiodun Debra that touched the ball. Then it showed that nobody
Yeah. It
really
went
touched the
indirectly.
ball. It went indirectly. So ultimately, I didn't care as a Nigerian fan who put the ball in the back of the net. I just cared that the ball was in the back of the net.
I saw your tweet and I was laughing my head off.
I just get there, it was back on the net. Who put it there? None of my business. Once it's legally in the back of the net, I would have even taken an own goal. But yeah, so Nigeria was able to avoid that defeat. But it was not the most brilliant performance, but the result was definitely desired. And the team we have is so solid that even when you bring players from the bench, you can sit, comfortably. It's not that thing that what was his name? Randy Waldrum was playing and making it look like it was hard. I've never
Mm.
seen Randy Waldrum is like some of our bathing detergents. This bathing,
Uh-uh.
yes,
Wow.
these shower gels these days, they act as if they can foam and moisturize at the same time. And I'm like, I know people have shower gels that can foam and moisturize. So why
Exactly.
are you
Two in
acting like
one.
I'm asking for support? So he was almost like Nigeria can play brilliantly and win. And I'm telling him that the Super Falcons, I know they can. I don't know much about the Super Eagles, but the Super Falcons, they can do three things at a time. They will score goals, play brilliantly, and win. And so the Super Falcons are now in the final of the WAFCON, looking at consolidating Mission S. And if you ask me, the best team at this tournament so far has been the Super Falcons of Nigeria. I've watched a lot of teams play, and I've seen the Super Falcons. In fact, yesterday I was scratching my head at how South Africa was still 1-0 with Nigeria in the 80 something minutes. I was like, we are a greatly better team. If you look at it player for player, um, performance for performance, especially since the knockout.
I
Look,
agree.
trust me,
I agree.
we should be winning by a mile, but football is no longer like that. It has evolved, it has grown, and so we get what we get. But the Super Falcons, if you ask me, are the best team at the WAFCON this year. And I don't see any reason why Mission X shouldn't be possible.
Yes, yes, indeed. I don't see any reason why Mission X should not be possible, but it's going to be a function of what happens in the final because we know that we'll be taking on the host of this competition, Morocco. They've set up a title showdown against Nigeria after they defeated Ghana 4-2 on penalties in the second semi-final yesterday night.
Okay, now this one shocked me because I thought that Morocco was going to use Ghana to pick their teeth. That's all I thought it was. Because when you think of how where the Ghanaians are ranked in women's football, the fact that they are not the best team right now,
Mm.
I didn't expect Morocco to struggle against them. But my shock when Ghana not only went ahead, but then at some point they looked like they were going to double their lead and stop Morocco from going into the next round. It was shocking to me because remember, Morocco is coached by Onojiafe, the guy that took Spain to win the World Cup before he was fired for
Mm.
being too
Mm.
strict. That's the guy that's in charge of the Moroccan women. So
Mm.
if in case you missed it, Morocco has been developing their football, both the men and the women's, and even the administrative one, which is why they're hosting everybody in the world
Yeah.
in Morocco. They've been developing their football infrastructure all around the country, and it's showing results. And so the women's football is one of the best now in the world. I'm not even talking Africa, leave Africa aside. And then they have the World Cup winning coach. So with all of that working in their favor, I did not think they would struggle against Ghana, but they did. Um, Ayokunmi, can you hear me?
I can hear you, checking.
Yeah, so they did struggle against Ghana, and but they were able to equalize and then drag this one all the way to a penalty shootout. Now they were brilliant on penalties. They scored all four penalties that they took, but the Ghanaians, of course, missed two of those penalties. So
Yeah.
I was shocked. If you ask me, Ghana overperformed. So as much as I want to banter Ghana, as much as I want to mock Ghana, I don't have the conscience to do that, knowing that they punched above their weight. The way Ghana was before the tournament, losing their coach Nora to Zambia because of miscommunication, of course, and bad leadership at the FA, and then having to bring in this coach last minute and the way their football was, I did not even think they would come out of the group stages. Alas, they played in the semi-final and they played brilliantly too. So I can't laugh at them for the first time. But we played Morocco in the final. And like I said, if you're looking at the performance all through the tournament, the Super Falcons are the better team. However, Morocco is playing at home. So they're playing at
Right.
home in front of the fans in their stadium, and they are not a bad team. It makes it a tougher task. It doesn't make it an impossible or improbable task. It just
Just
makes
makes
it
it
a
tougher.
tougher task. Yeah,
Right.
so
Right.
and on that note, I'm not going to completely write them off. CAF does not cheat. So for those of you that will say the referee wants to blow in favor of Morocco, that doesn't happen. I don't want us to accuse referees before the time.
Mm.
However, there is home advantage that can play a part in this one. So hopefully the Super Falcons don't get nervous or don't get overwhelmed, and they play their game, they'll win it.
All right. If they play their game, they'll definitely win it, and Mission X will definitely be complete. I think we should take this break before we talk about Daniel Dubois. Or do you want to jump into Daniel Dubois' situation very quickly, Tega, before the break?
Okay, let's talk about Daniel Dubois' situation. So it turns out that there's news reports coming out that while Dubois was supposed to be preparing to face Usyk, his team was partying the night before the fight. No wonder when they gave him slaps, because that wasn't a blow. He felt like a pack of cards. If you're partying the night before, how do you expect to deliver against somebody that's coming from a war front? And so there's investigations now into his team, and they're going to come out with a report. But there was definitely a party. The question was and um, who was there, and what's going to be the consequences. But yes, there was partying
Mm.
before the night before the fight against UC. So it's very unprofessional one, and number two, it looks like they already knew they were going to lose, so they might as well party.
Right, right, right. But Tega, is there also any thought of maybe during the party, there were discussions had about whether the fight should be thrown, not thrown. Is there any inkling
That's
of
what
that?
I'm saying. The minute you have a party the night before, it sounds like you're throwing a fight.
Mm.
You're not going
Mm.
to your biggest battle partying the night before, which is why this is a good investigation or a big investigation, because what it indicates is that you never came into the ring to win. which
You
means
just came.
you should
You
only
just came
fight.
to attend. To you just came to
Yeah,
attend. That's
to
all.
collect your money. So those are the issues. That's why it's a big deal. Because once you're partying the night before, you're throwing a fight. It's that simple. One plus one is two.
Hmm. This is going to be this is going to be an interesting sequence of events, and I'm looking to see how it's all going to pan out at the end of the day. All right, let's take that break right now. When we come back in, we'll be talking about the three lionesses who, by the skin of their teeth, were able to beat Italy in extra time to reach the women's Euro 2025 final. Instead of preparing for fights, we're doing party. Okay, no problem.
So do you understand why it's a huge investigation? Because now the world is like, okay, he probably didn't plan to win. So it's no longer just misbehavior now. It's illegal.
Hmm. Well, that'll be difficult to prove, Sha.
No, no, once you party, that means you plan to lose. You can't party and win. It's not like Maradona going to club. You organize a full party. Yes, now, if Maradona is going to club and you know that regardless of going to club, he'll come out and perform, there are 10 other players on the pitch. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But when there's only you in the ring and your team is partying the night before, it means that they did not plan to win. That's it. That's the issue. You can't party and get into the boxing ring to win, even if you are Tyson Fury.
It just doesn't work that way.
So what it means is that you plan to fail, which is tantamount to throwing the fight.
We wait and we watch. And we watch and we wait. And we watch the English. Okay. Welcome back into the locker room on the Smooth Breakfast here on Smooth 98.1. Your love music, love life, your love sports station as well. 33 minutes past 8 a.m. Ayokunmi here alongside me, doing the business, getting into the nitty-gritty of the sporting stories, the one and only Tega Supreme, doing supreme bits to what we're talking about. You also get to talk to us and share your thoughts. Please do. The WhatsApp number is one way to do that. 0809 444 0981. 0809 444 0981. Also join us on YouTube. Get that front row seat into all the action that goes on behind the scenes as well. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos is, excuse me, that is the YouTube platform. One or two messages here on YouTube because the number have come in from Padre Pai who says, "Good one, Falcons. We ripped the banana banana league. Come on, banana league is really apart to get to the finals. Yay, go ladies and give us the cup. Morocco no reach." Uchenna Wokoye says, "Good win for Super Falcons and England. Bring on Morocco. Next stop, Man United. Let's get our acts together, please. From your mouth to the ears of the Lord." Uchenna. All right, let us talk about yes, sir. Let us talk about what went down in the women's Euros. Chloe Kelly scored the winner as reigning champions. England beat Italy 2-1 after extra time on Tuesday to reach the women's Euro 2025 final. England seem to be enjoying doing things the hard way in this tournament. Tega.
Yes, they have wumbled and fumbled their way to the finals because there's no other excuse. First of all, when they set up against Italy, again, this was one fight I thought. I said it on Monday that England was in the final because it looked like an easy one. They're playing against an Italian side who are now coming up in football, but you're talking about the defending champions who have a great team. By the time you count all the stars in Italy, from Girelli to Caruso, that's about it. To Severini, Bonanessa, so they're not many. But when you look at the English team,
From back to front, it's stars all around.
yes, from the goalkeeper to the striker, stars everywhere you look, and players that have delivered different trophies. And like I said, defending champions. And if you ask, this is their third consecutive final, so they're not their second final in the Euros. So they're not small players. I expected them to walk over Italy. Turns out that the Italians didn't have that business in mind. In fact, the Italians were winning until injury time of the match. And if they
Yeah.
didn't add those 7 minutes, England would be home by now, and the newspapers would be slaughtering the Lionesses. And Diana Wigman would probably have been fired via email from Switzerland. It was that likely. They scored that goal in the 94th minute of the game. Sorry, almost 95th. Yeah, that's
Talk
when
about
Ajiman.
the late show.
Yeah, that's when Ajiman came in. The thing I was going to ask about Sarina Bigman is that she needs to make her changes a lot earlier. So you see the players like Stanway and like struggling to break free, and you have Chloe Kelly on the bench. That girl works for NASA. You can't convince me. She can pinpoint a cross from any angle on the pitch. Once that ball just comes, it's the craziest thing. Um, and so somebody that crosses the ball like that, and you have a Russo in the 18-yard box just waiting to pounce or something, and doesn't get fed, is the most ridiculous thing. And then Ajiman, I understand that she's 19, she's young, but she knows how to put herself about. She knows how to use her size. She knows how to use her space, and then she is a lethal scorer. So you have those people and you leave it till late to start making those substitutions. I guess that's why they're struggling. But she eventually made the changes. Adiman comes in, scores the injury time goal, and then the penalty was given. Some people say it's a soft penalty, but when you fall on top of the person you're supposed to be defending, it's hard not to give the penalty.
Mm, I mean, I mean,
I mean, both of them were giving as good as they got, but she pushed. She shoved to last. And once the player is in the 18-yard box, all she needs is a touch, and
simple
she's
as
going
that.
down like it's as simple as that. So you don't want to give the referee a decision to make, because if you give the referee a decision to make, it may not go in your favor, which is what happened. And so she was arguing about the severity of her push, and the VAR and the referee concluded that look, that's a penalty, soft or not. And so it was a penalty. Chloe steps up. Her penalty was saved, but she followed her rebound. She buried her rebound, and that's how England have made it here. So England are in the finals. I thought they'd be here, but I was not convinced by how they were here. I think the question now is how will they fare in the final? Because if they meet either one of the teams on the other side of the table, it's going to be tougher than what they saw against Italy.
Hmm. Most definitely going to be tough. I'm talking about the teams on the other side of the divide in that draw. Spain are determined to end a miserable past record against Germany when the sides meet in the last four of the tournament today, with midfielder Alexia Putellas setting her sights on more history for the World Cup holders.
Yes, so as much as Spain have been dominant, I like to remind people that this is a recent event. Prior to this, I remember one of my friends working at the Spanish Federation. He used to say that the women in Spain, they don't care about football. They just want to drink their tea, have their lunches, and go where they're going to. I think somebody convinced them that they should try and play football, and since then they've been dominating. Um, so they come in with this record, but prior to that, they have struggled against Germany. In fact, the Germans have been their Waterloo, but they are now the team to beat around the world. We're not just talking about in Europe now. Around
Yeah.
the world, these are the world champions we're talking about. This is the team to beat, the Spanish national team. Um, both men and women, but let's focus on the women. But they come up against the German side, whose football has taken a dip. Again, both the men and women's side, but it's resurgent. And when you look at how the Germans came in through the semi-final against
Mm,
one of the contenders for the title. Remember, the French beat the English in the first match of this tournament. We're
yeah.
talking about one of the contenders for the title, and they were a man down from halfway. Sorry, from it was not even halfway. Early in the first half, they played with 10 men from that early minute in the first half all the way to penalty shootout, and they are here in the final. So they're going to be a tough side to beat because they can be resolute when it comes to defending, and they can frustrate the Spanish team who sometimes like to walk the ball into the park, into the back of the net. I know that sometimes Pina takes those long range shots, but most in general, the Spanish play the way they play. They pass the ball around and then into the 18-yard box before they score a goal. So they can frustrate Spain and stun them and come out with a win. So it's not easy to say it's a given that the Spanish will win, but the Spanish are definitely overwhelming favorites to win this trophy. So let's see how it works out for Spain. They look like they'll be able to break the hoodoo, but the Germans are no
They're no
they're not an
pushovers.
easy they're no pushover. So
Mm,
I think ultimately it's going to be an interesting one tonight.
most definitely. Looking forward to that game later tonight. All right, let's bring the football to England. And let's talk about Crystal Palace, who have appealed against the decision to demote the club from the Europa League. That's according to the Court of Arbitration for Sports. Yes, they've confirmed that. A decision is expected by August 11th of this month, a month after their move down to the Conference League was confirmed on July 11th.
I don't know why it's taking that long, seeing that the league is going to start in August, and usually these things will be ready. But yeah, if you're Crystal Palace, you would appeal that. Think about it. Do you know when last they won a major trophy? They did the unthinkable, beat Manchester City in the final, and now you're telling them they can't go to Europa. No, now it's unfair. If they have to contest, they're going to contest. If they have to appeal, they're going to appeal. And I agree, they have that opportunity. So Cass is saying that they have appealed. My question is, why does it take that long to review the documents and then, of course, August 11 seems like a long time.
Hmm.
It does seem like,
You just
but
wonder
it
why.
looks it looked like yeah, it looked like a harsh penalty if you ask me. Remember when Leon were demoted in Ligue 1? Now it's been overturned.
Yeah, that's
So
true. That's true.
yeah, Leon they were demoted to League Two, and they appealed it, and they're like, no, if we did anything wrong. And again, when you think about it, the bigger clubs seem to get away with anything. You know, the Chelseas and the PSGs and the Manchester Cities that have been, pointed at in all these financial issues. They don't pay as much penalty as the smaller clubs.
Which is very
And now you
ironic.
want, do you understand? And now you want a small club who has struggled with their limited resources to get into Europe to forfeit it without a fight. It's not happening. So yes, let's hear what Cass has to say when all this is said and
Alrighty. Okay, so let's talk quickly about some transfer business. Where Johan Wissa has returned to the UK from Brentford's pre-season training camp for talk to the club's hierarchy over his future amid a bid from Newcastle. Brentford understood to have
done.
rejected an offer of £25 million. Is Newcastle serious?
Yes, I told you that, at this point in time, everybody is leaving Brentford. Even Vita wants to leave. When you think about it, when Mbomo has gone, Nogard has gone, Vita is like, am I the only unwanted big name left here? So he's returned from the training camp and he's now he's back to discuss his future. Now, whether that discussion means increased money or a push for him to leave the club. We are yet to find out. But what it is that he's definitely unsettled, and so are Brentford. But this is the matter we're talking about, where players begin to push for something. Like the Arsenal package that is still halfway through delivery. They say they've agreed the add-ons, but they've not announced yet. Here we go. So what is happening, or what has happened, was that Victor pushed for a move. And he was saying he wanted Arsenal. He pushed and he mentioned where he wanted to go. And players now have that kind of power to frustrate a club with all these moves. So
Hmm.
let's see what Visa is going to do, if he's going to take the same route or if he's just pushing for increased pay. Because either one works for him. He's
Yes,
still in
indeed.
the
Either
Premier
one.
League.
Yeah.
He's still in the Premier League and he's getting paid good money. Either way.
It's a win-win. All right, let me take your messages as we begin to wrap up on the show here. Stan says, congratulations to the Super Falcons, but they still look vulnerable for international competitions with European teams. Not too much tactical play, just strength. They get tired within the 50 to 60th minutes due to overworking. I think the
I don't even
physical side
I
was
don't
in
even
there.
understand how people bring this assessment from one match. Some days people play not their best, but that's not the character of the team. This is the same thing like that we watched against Zambia now. Was this the same performance you saw? So why are you making these categorical statements because they do not have one of their best days against South Africa? I think it's the absolute certainty that they get tired and there was no tactical input that is getting tired. That's not a fair assessment, if you ask me.
All right, this is from Tayo. Tayo says, Alozie with the miracle shot. Tell her I left my ex for her. You know, Tayo. Mission X is a go. Morocco too shall pass. Now, football team they be. They no be good. I'm hearing Oshola is retiring after this tournament. Please, how true is this? Is that coming? Is that a thing? Tega, do you know?
And that is a thing because people have been harassing the poor girl um, on social media. And she can see it. All of a sudden, we have a new crop of players coming in, and we're talking about new crop of players that made it. There's still some that didn't make it, and a lot of people were saying she's old now. She's an auntie. We can't be using people and dumping people.
Mm,
It's just
that
wrong.
is true. That
And
is
then
true. I
when we
mean,
no longer need them, we're talking about, is it not the 5-time African Footballer of the Year? And when people are, going through a patch, we just discard of them as if they are not human beings with feelings. So it's been a lot, if you ask me.
yeah.
I didn't want to discuss it too much during the tournament, but those kind of things can weigh down on a player.
Mm,
So we as fans, we need to be careful how we discuss all these things about retirement and all. She's young. She's
agreed.
just in,
Agreed, agreed. Taya further says Dubois thinks he's John Jones. I think I saw Amos shine in that video, but if he won the fight, in spite of the party, they would query it. No, sorry, would they query it? If you went there to attend the fight, me too, 100 and collect dollars. Tayo, yo.
if
This
you
is
went there to if you went to the party, how can you win a fight? You first of all, that means you didn't get enough sleep. Second of
stranger
all,
things have
we don't know
happened.
what you yeah, we don't know what you drank at the party. So first of all, you'll be tired, you didn't get enough sleep. We don't know what will happen. So your senses will be dull. If you go to a party the night before a fight, you expect to be beaten. It's that simple. And so that's what I'm saying. I didn't say it was match. It was throwing the fight. It was tantamount to throwing the fight.
Mm.
Do you understand that now?
Yep. YouTube, El Rogba says there's a golden rule for Nigeria. Anyone can beat us, but never South Africa or Ghana. The ladies did well yesterday. I was so excited. However, I think the coach took too long to make a sub. And also, Liverpool won the league last season and are spending like there's no tomorrow. Now, wow, they should calm down. Arsenal will buy, but
When you
still
were
target
spending,
second
did
and be
anybody
trophyless.
complain? Okay, Derogba, leave us oh. Leave us oh.
He thinks we've forgotten.
All
Gago
right. On
players.
that, we want to thank you for sending your messages via WhatsApp. We want to thank you for streaming in and sending your messages. We want to thank you for tuning in to Smooth 98.1 FM. So we'll come your way again on Friday when hopefully Arsenal's package would have surely been delivered. Maybe.
Mm.
Have a fantastic week.
All right, Tega, thank you so much. Have a great Wednesday and see you on Friday. And thank you all so much for being a part of the show. Keeping it tuned to the locker room and to Smooth 98.1. Do not go anywhere because at 9 o'clock, a conversation will be had on Lagos Talks. A very important conversation having to do with parental aiding of cheating and dishonesty in examinations. It's something we need to talk about. Don't go anywhere. Keep it tuned.